Welcome to another video, guys. So in this podcast, I had the opportunity to have a conversation with Bob Larkin. So Bob Larkin is a longtime friend. We met in the Tibetan Library Institute in Dharamshala, so McLeod-Ganj. It's a small village in India, but he's been there for a very long time, and I've seen him from time to time. We had very enjoyable intellectual conversations, so that's why I decided to record this conversation about intermittent fasting and diet. I just walked up to him and asked, could we record, because you look healthy and I think you know what you're doing. So that's why this podcast exists, because of the surprise that I got from him. So we met at the Tibetan Library studying Buddhism, right? So I believe Bob Larkin is Buddhist, so am I. But this segment of the conversation is more towards his approach to diet and how he's been able to look and be healthy. That's why I wanted to make this podcast episode. So anyways, I don't want to waste more of your time. Enjoy the conversation with Bob Larkin.
All right, Bob Larkin, thank you for taking your time to do this conversation with me, and I really do appreciate your time. Last time we talked a lot about fasting, and I really, this is a topic that I'm quite new to. Obviously, I've been trying to learn it for the past 2 years, but I still feel that I'm quite uneducated with this topic. And when we were talking before, you really did enlighten me with a lot of research that you have done, and you even said that you have reached ketosis here. And so this is something that I have never achieved, but I am really into fasting. I'm not sure if I will get up to that level, but I do think for overall health, just fasting in general is quite important. So this is why I wanted to get you on this podcast, and I really do appreciate you. So if you don't mind, could you give a little bit of introduction about yourself?
If the traffic would permit.
Yes.
Anyway, Tashi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
And welcome back, obviously, from your college
Thank
in
you.
the States.
Thank you.
And we've known each other for a little while now. So, yeah,
That's
in a different context.
Yeah.
What to do with going to Buddhist class and other things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a new topic for both of us to be discussing.
Mm-hmm.
And what a place. What can I say?
Yeah.
So, if you guys want to know, just even before we start talking about fasting, my gym is over there. I don't know how much of that you can see, but this is where I go pretty much most days, is on top of this mountain.
I see. Actually, let me get it on.
Climb. Yeah, so it's important to see where I work for my physical fitness.
Okay.
So yeah, this entire ridge here, I go way down and I do a 4-hour climb, which is about 1,600 vertical meters of ascent on this here, and it's completely depopulated. I have it entirely to myself.
I see.
A lot of people get very worried that I do this particular track simply because they think there are a lot of black bears there. So I'm going to be someone's menu, someone's dinner, or something's dinner on. But no, I've always found it lovely. And unfortunately, we're partly clouded over to the end of it. But yeah, so we're blessed to be in this location.
Absolutely.
And it's a mountain, that's provided me with a lot of necessary cardio.
Gotcha.
Tracking. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, my background really is I'm currently in India, by the way. So I actually was born in Ireland to quite a large family on a farm, quite a large dairy farm. Okay, I'm trying to ignore that it's there.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, let's do this again.
Yeah, let's do this again.
Just to split.
Okay, you may have to edit that bit out.
Of course.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I forget. I have to look at you, not at it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was
You can look at it too. Sometimes
Okay.
if you want. Yeah. Absolutely.
If I'm trying to explain something.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so I grew up in a dairy farm, a very large dairy farm with 120 cows.
Where was this dairy farm, sir?
It was in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland, central of Ireland, and we had just a lot of animals.
Okay.
So I grew up on all kind of grass-fed, everything really.
So you sort of grew up as a nomadic sort of lifestyle.
Yes, I grew up. It wasn't nomadic. I mean, it was farming. So we weren't moving from place to place. The animals were moving.
Okay. Right, you guys were farmers, right?
Yeah, we just sat in the middle and allowed the animals to move around.
Gotcha.
And thanks to a few very, very, very able dogs, I kept them on the move basically. So yeah, it was. But it was we had the produce off the farm largely. We didn't slaughter our own animals, but we had them slaughtered, and we ate the beef. Principally, it was beef. We also did lamb. So I grew up with the food that we talk about today and these new nuances of how we should be eating healthy diets.
Yeah.
I grew up with that.
Got it.
Whole fat milk.
Got it.
You know, there was full fat everything.
Yeah.
You know, there was no such thing as, you know, low fat. That wasn't there. And
so no slangs, no fancy terms of
not at all.
weighing you to a specific diet.
No, nothing like that at all. We just had it naturally. And coupled with that, we also had obviously whole milk, unpasteurized. You know, we drank that daily.
Yeah.
And we made produce from that. So we were familiar with those bacteria, and all of that meant that your microbiome developed in such a way that the kind of diseases that are now becoming more the norm with my nieces and nephews, such as asthma, you know, were never with my siblings. You know, we never had those conditions because we were so exposed to so much bacteria. We basically made it. You know, we survived, and our whole immune system and our microbiome adjusted. You know, to that. So I believe that was a healthy basis for a start of a life.
Okay.
Very, very healthy.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't appreciate it at the time.
Right.
We felt very deprived.
Yeah.
So we lived in the middle of the countryside. There were no snacks. There were no ice cream. There was no ice cream. There was no, like, if you want to get a packet of crisps, you know, you'd have to cycle 10 kilometers to get it. So you pretty much burned when you got back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really had a very, very simple diet. But it was what I would now consider a very healthy diet.
I see.
You know, the advent of science and so forth.
Yeah.
So we were protected, I suppose. And this is going back to the 60s and the 70s.
Gotcha. Yeah.
When this new, the nuance of the day was very much that whole fats are very dangerous for you. So they started taking those out of the food chain, and they started substituting with artificial sugars, and God knows how many sugars they could actually make. I think there are hundreds of these possible things and chemically synthesized.
Okay.
So yeah, we were very, and we didn't have a lot of fruit either, interestingly enough. And this is something I thought about just in prep for this. Yeah, I had very little fruit. We were super healthy. We were never ill.
Got it.
Literally never ill. It's extraordinary. And all my siblings had a similar sort of experience, right? So yeah, so I'm offering that there. So I then, at the age of 17, we followed a very, well, from the age of 11, rather, I was in a boarding school. That was a religious boarding school.
Okay.
So our diet changed again
Right.
During that time, and I think we suffered quite a bit from that.
Was it? Were you guys vegetarian or what?
No.
What diet was it?
Yes, it was mixed. It was what we call non-veg here, I guess.
Non-veg. Yeah.
So I guess you would have got about 20-30% of your calories from the protein, but very little fats. You got it. The fats were at the back end of that, so pretty much, I suppose, 50% of our energy was coming from fats. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing a little bit about your life and how it was when you were growing up. It seems like you have always had sort of a healthy diet that you didn't know about. So it seems like you have always been alerted with what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
Was your mom quite close to you and that feel like what you should eat or not eat? Was she quite strict with what you should eat? Or
it's quite interesting. I was thinking about this too. Recently.
Yeah, like,
as you often do when you're reevaluating so many things in your life.
Yeah.
And it was something actually that prompted the thought I'm going to share now. It occurred when we were downstairs 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And you talked about when you were at the gym, as you were fasting and you were trying to get into ketosis mode, that it was affecting your performance.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
And then I thought about my mom for some odd reason. When we were growing up, and I had a lot of siblings, so her day was like full out. Okay, she just had burn, massive burn. So when she found that her energy was waning, and she had to continue, endless amounts of washing, endless amounts of also a huge farm to manage with my dad and so forth. What did she do to boost herself?
Yeah.
What did she have? What was her idea of a snack?
I was thinking coffee or something. I don't know.
No, I think the coffee when I got to college, I think.
Too fancy.
It was a lump of full fat butter.
Oh wow!
That is
just a lump of full butter.
Just a lump of full
butter.
And she would go again like a dime.
I feel like people think that will make you more tired and lazier. Why did that have a different effect on
The things that make
mother?
you tired, the only thing that makes you tired
Right.
is when you have this blood glucose spike inside. Because you have this glycemic index. You're familiar with it. And by the way, I should add a disclaimer here that I'm not an expert, but I've got to share with you what I think with that.
Okay.
What is actually going on something.
Yes, yes.
And it's quite natural that, when if you're taking in, carbs, particularly if they're highly refined or whatever, your blood glucose just spikes, okay? While taking in the butter, there is no increase in blood glucose whatsoever. Okay, that doesn't increase. It has no effect of blood glucose.
Okay.
But unfortunately, when that goes up,
Yeah.
the blood glucose, if you take a sugary snack or whatever, then it's going to go down very fast, okay? And you go into a craving.
So it's a glucose crash, and then you start craving. Okay.
That's it. That's where the craving comes from.
Got it.
Yeah. So when you have the full fats, they're not only very satiating, they're highly energy intense calories. They have like 9 calories per gram. So they are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Energy intense, and therefore she used to power off. With it.
That's her power.
And she was like a stick. She was super slim.
Wow.
As well. And
Right.
we used to watch that in some amazement. As kids.
Yeah.
I
I think, I used to always think, it's like a totally wrong assumption, but I used to think people that are skinny or thin don't have energy left in them.
Yeah.
But they're actually using their, I'm not sure if everyone is working the same way, but the ones that are really conscious of, if they're fasting, for instance, they're really using that, their body properly. Like,
Sure.
They look skinny, but they have a lot of energy.
Yes, yeah.
Because I always thought fat people just have a lot of stored energy that they don't know how to use.
Yes.
So was that your mother, a skinny person, but that was able to use a lot of energy from what she consumed because it was so healthy?
Yeah, I think with her really, it's just that I guess the strain of the day was such. I think she was still using her ketones correctly, but it wasn't giving her enough energy that she needed to top it up. She needed to top it up. So obviously the other thing I should qualify. You asked a really good question actually. Remember, most of our diet is still in carbs.
Okay.
We're all still in carbs. So she's not in ketosis.
I see.
She's not in ketosis.
Right.
Do you understand?
I'm sure back in those days, everything was probably relied heavily on carbs because it was cheaper.
Precisely. They were cheap, but they were just a standard thing. We had lots of potatoes. Lots and lots. That was the main staple. And bread.
So in Ireland, back in the 60s and 70s, it was potatoes. That most of the population got their carbs from, or was also rice and.
No, it was no rice. There was flour, yes, and that obviously made bread. And that was pretty much it.
So that makes sense. That makes sense because in the mountains, it's going to be rice. Yeah.
Correct.
Same for Tibet.
Yeah. So basically, you're looking at a situation where when she had that butter, she wasn't in ketosis at all.
Okay.
But it did satisfy to continue, all the long until the next meal. So she was able to burn that calorie without boosting her sugar glucose levels. Glucose levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things occurring to me. We should be writing this down.
Yeah.
But the same thought. But for you, certainly, if you had tried that when you find yourself in the gym and your performance is not what you like it to be.
Yeah.
Because you are still eating carbs.
I am. I'm still heavily eating carbs, actually.
Yeah. That your body isn't what we call metabolically adjusted.
Okay.
That is the example of you again, lifting weights, or whatever you were up to. You use very technical terms. I'm not quite too sure what these are. I'm not a gym boy. This is it. This is my gym.
Right.
Not down there.
That's a beautiful. That's a very massive gym.
It is. With just me in it. It's just extraordinary. Really. Very
and bears.
And bears, I'm told.
Are you lifting bears?
Only if I get asked.
How long does it take to go all the way up there?
So it would take, it varies really, depending on the weather. So if I start very early morning, which I often do at 6, but I start from lower TCV, so I can get up in 3.5 hours to 3 hours. Yeah. But way down. Yeah. So I go down to come up.
And it's important to have that vertical.
Yeah, the vertical appreciation is the most important. Yeah. The slope is also a key factor, obviously, because it's the rate of incline as to what you're burning. But that would burn about 2,500 calories.
Yeah.
That time.
Wow. Yeah. A single session for me at a gym for maybe 30 minutes is probably 400 to 500 calories. So,
Okay.
it's a big comparison.
Yeah. You can burn quite a lot in cardio.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
So sorry, back to
Burning.
the metabolism.
Yeah, to
Eating
be
too much
metabolically
carbs.
adjusted, to be well adjusted, adapt to different
Right.
metabolisms. So you have obviously got the sugar
Uh-huh.
metabolism, whereby you've got the insulin involved there.
Mhm.
And then you've obviously got those of us that have brought our sugar levels sufficiently low enough
Mhm.
by eating very few carbs over a very long period of time. Then we don't have the craving, we don't have the hunger and all of that. So we are in full ketosis.
Got it.
Okay, so we're burning full fat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much most of the time. After the meal, you have some carbs that are coming from your vegetables, my greens that I eat and so forth. That's going to be there. Yeah. So there's going to be some raising of sugar levels, but nothing like what it would be if you had bread or pasta.
Right.
Way down. I mean, somewhere along 70, maybe below that.
Yeah.
You don't get above that.
Right. Sometimes when you eat bread or rice or any of these
Refined
highly
carbs.
refined carbs, you do feel lethargic afterwards. I wonder why that is happening.
Yeah, it's because your blood sugar is going through. Got it. Yeah. Because it takes a huge amount of energy to digest it.
Yeah.
Got it. Your body's so spaced. Okay. Trying to process that. While you never would. If you're in a ketogenic diet, you don't have that. You're never tired after you eat. But I would also say to you, for some people out there, when they do feel that tiredness after they've had a meal, particularly one that's rich in carbs, they're showing early signs of insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance.
Yeah, they're on the road to diabetes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You couldn't be. It's impossible if you could be. But for people of my age, certainly they should be very aware of that if after having had a meal, all they want to do is lie down. This is a big alarm bell. You are pre-diabetic. Literally pre-diabetic.
Yeah. Wow. So it seems like you have really dove into the meaning and how to reach ketosis. So I really thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bit back and talk a little bit about how to fast.
Yes.
Simply for someone that has never fasted in their whole life.
Yeah.
And maybe it's for weight loss. Maybe it's just to feel cognitively alert.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just to change their diet up a little bit because maybe they think it's helping their life in terms of, like you said, getting more energy, bringing more energy into their life. So we know that fasting has all these benefits.
Yeah.
But how can someone fast? Like, what should they do? How should they approach that lifestyle? Because it's a lifestyle for the rest of their life. So.
Isn't. I don't encourage fasting for the rest of your life.
Okay.
I don't think that's sensible.
Got it.
I think what it is that when you get to a certain age or you have a concern about a certain condition, which is often metabolically related, where you are maybe in a pre-diabetic state like we just mentioned, then fasting is a very powerful tool to help you to get back on the right. Okay. So why do we lose weight? This is the key. Why are you wanting to lose weight?
Exactly.
What is your motivation for doing it?
Yeah.
So if you're doing it just so you fit in a certain dress or a certain trousers or jeans or whatever the case may be, well, you're in trouble because that's basically never a good enough motive to lose weight. I feel vanity doesn't get you anywhere. You're just going to go into a yoga diet where you're going to get into it and then you just put on the weight. So, it's people that know that they have the last chance.
Sorry, let's just go back. So like you said, people that are going quite extreme with their diet.
Yeah.
Is that why some celebrities always get kind of chubby after their role?
Yeah. They're going to yo-yo right back again.
Yo-yo back.
Yeah. This is the problem.
Yeah.
It's actually dangerous. Very dangerous to do that. Better not to fast in the first place. Yeah. In that sense. And fasting is not compulsory, by the way. Okay. That's something else I want to say as well. You can lose weight without fasting. I know a lot of people find that really, really strange.
Yeah.
But it's actually true. Right. What you have to do is get your diet right. If you get the diet right, you just have to wait longer. You will eventually get to, your metabolism will correct itself, and it will get you back to a point where you actually are able to fight these chronic conditions associated with people dysregulated metabolism. So metabolism is key to really defending the body against all those diseases that we get in middle age or late age. But also people in their 30s. So, okay, go to fasting again. Yeah. If you have to fast because it's necessary, think about what your goal is. And your goal really should be to get rid of the visceral food. The subcutaneous fat is one under your skin, and that's the biggest fat in your body. Actually, the biggest body
Right.
fat is that.
Okay.
Between your underneath your skin, between your muscle.
Right.
Yeah, it's called subcutaneous.
So it's underneath your dead cells.
Yeah,
but
and
it's,
under again.
it's like a sandwich with your muscle
And your skin. Yeah, the skin is quite thick. There's several layers to your skin. So it's sandwiched in there. It's actually, there's another thing. Our relationship with fat is quite negative.
It is. It's very negative.
Which is unfortunate because it's an absolute essential organ in itself to regulate our heat, in our body. And also, of course, like you talked about earlier, retaining calories in times of famine. When people, because we come from a hunter-gatherer scenario, so we're adapted to be able to go for a long time without eating anything. They didn't choose to fast long.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They just had to fast, okay?
Yeah.
And therefore, because of that, they luckily they evolved to store energy. And that's called fat. You know what I mean? So I would say to you that when people say, "Oh, fat, bad," well, no, actually, it's a misunderstanding. And it's the fact that we aren't managing our fat levels appropriately. Yeah, is what is problematic. So change our relationship to fat and see that fat is not evil.
Right.
That's what I suggest. Okay, so visceral fat is the one that affects your metabolism.
Okay.
You want me to explain that?
Yes, please. Please, could you explain simply what metabolism is for and what does it mean?
Okay. So the visceral fat, first of all, it basically is the fat that's internal in your body around your key organs. So think of your liver. So we're familiar with fatty liver disease.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we over work the liver in terms of fructose, for example, fructose is a part of a sugar molecule that is we have white sugar. Half of that is fructose.
Must be fruits too, right?
Fructose would be fructose. I think they call it in America.
Fructose. Okay.
Yeah, fructose. I think that's the expression.
Got it.
I could be wrong, but fructose is what we call it in most of the rest of the world. We have to be different. Just want to confuse our American cousins.
Yeah.
No. But so fructose and fructose are exactly the same. So basically, it's a sugar that cannot be broken down. Like glucose, it cannot be processed in the cells. The main two foods, right? It can't be done. It has to be taken into the liver and processed there. All right, and that if there's too much of that going on, fattiness occurs because it cannot keep up with the volumes of fructose that is actually going in there. Alcohol used to be the disease. Alcohol used to cause fatty livers, but now we have a new expression. Kids like the ages of 10 that have got fatty liver, which means your liver is stressed and basically dysfunctional because of sugar, because of these high fructose corn syrup things like Coca-Cola. Yeah. So the liver is a key organ, and if any fat is brewing around it, it's stressing that organ. Okay, so it can't function properly. So your metabolism is compromised. Okay. It can't work the way it's meant to. Yeah. Because it's surrounded in this lot of fat, which is literally, I would say, it's compressing it. Yeah. It's I suppose the correct word for it is it's hijacking it. It's depriving it what it needs to do. It's space to grow and to move and things like that. So all of those things are compromising the liver. Right. Also, the visceral fat goes around your gut. Yeah. Okay. And that's why when people start to pop the belly. In fact, it's often the liver that shows signs of, insulin resistance and very regularly. That pops, the belly pops, basically. Because the liver is fatty. And all the other organs pop, including the heart, the pancreas, and the kidneys. So all of them are surrounded by this swimming fat, which we call visceral fat. So think about it.
Visceral fat. Okay.
Yeah, the visceral. And what you have to try and do is get those under control. You have to get them right down. Get them right down. Okay, and that's what we're fasting towards. Got it. Good thing is with visceral fats, they are the quickest to get rid of. I see. A lot of people talk about belly fat. So that's actually just under the skin. That's the subcutaneous fat again. That is not stressing your organs. Trust me. But it's damn hard to get rid of. Yeah. The visceral fat will go first. Yeah. Okay. I see. Absolutely go first. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's go into the fasting. So if you popped your belly and you've got you're carrying
you popped your belly,
and you can't get it, you're embarrassed and all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, you should be more worried, obviously, about how your health is.
The visceral fat, right?
The visceral fat you need to carry,
not the subcutaneous fat.
Subcutaneous fat will come later.
So most people that have a belly, it's not their visceral fat is not functioning properly. Their metabolism must be extremely slow.
Yeah.
and that's causing the subcutaneous fat.
Yeah. It's a continue. Now, yes, their metabolism has slowed down, but it's also the very fact that they haven't had the right kind of foods in there.
Yeah.
So they've been putting in the wrong kind of calories, where the liver has been struggling to process them, ends up throwing them out around in these fatty circles. And so it's not just a case that, you can say that the visceral fat can be attributed to anything more than calorie excess of the wrong kind of calories. And they're making your metabolism dysregulated, cannot function properly. So it's not about slow metabolism necessarily, but it's just excess, not moving enough, not burning off. So it's the old calorific equation. You're putting far too much in relative to what you're taking.
Right.
So the body's got to put it somewhere.
Calories in, calories out.
Calories out. I still believe that's not, it's the paradigm is shifting on that.
Okay.
But I still think it's a relatively good guide.
Okay. Yeah.
I kind of say there's still some benefit.
Yeah.
Considering models like that. I mean,
yeah.
And, we have, obviously, as I said, we are designed to fatten up.
Yeah.
We're designed up because there are so many hormones going on in the body that are encouraging us to store our fats. Why? Because it's worried, like from our ancestors, there will be, 5, 10 days, maybe they don't have energy. Because they're hunter-gatherers.
Right.
So the body's designed naturally to fatten up. This is just the way it is. And our hormones are all kind of like switched on by our food. Our food sends signals all the time. And the visceral just grows and grows. But the problem is, there's no famine. So tomorrow is exactly the same as today. So we just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I mean? So we don't have that 5 to 10 days of essential, fasting that would curb from not being able to find the next kill.
When I was in the States, I went to some places, specifically in LA. There were certain areas that are called food deserts.
Okay.
And it's very hard for locals to find healthy, nutritional food because everywhere you go, it's just fast food.
Correct. Sugar.
So in a way, it's also, I'm sure everyone knows this, but it's because companies are trying to enforce their own products, which they know is unhealthy. And so people are just stuck with this sort of life of just constantly storing visceral fat, and obviously.
The big problem is this word convenience.
Yeah.
You understand? So everyone goes to their little convenience store around the corner. Okay. If you're storing fresh vegetables, guess what? It's expensive.
Correct.
They take up a lot of space. Right. They rot. They go off very, very quickly. Correct. So they're a high risk produce for any company to be trying to sell. I'm not saying that they're deliberately trying to poison us. It's not like that at all.
No.
I just think that the high value is the things that I got, like, if anything goes in your fridge and it's going to last for more than 3 days, okay, unless it's something like butter or whatever, it's so processed, it can't be good for you. You know what I mean? It just can't be good for you. It's a rule of thumb. You know what I mean? It's just cannot. Yeah. Because whatever they put in there, damn, you got to stay away from it. And here we are in India, okay? And it's ironic. I think if we let aside the vegetable shops, but all the other shops you find here, it's almost absolutely nothing that I could ever buy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's so unhealthy. It's super unhealthy.
There was a funny saying from this guy. He used to say that if your food has ingredients labeled on it, that means there's something wrong.
Yeah, look at the list.
Look at the list. Like your food should just not have any ingredients.
That's very correct.
Whole food.
That's it. That's absolutely right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Because it's so processed. This is another word we're introducing. Over-processed, ultra-processed. Of course, where are the nutrients? Yeah. They've been taken out of it. They've been through the extraction process. They haven't survived. And yes, you have a nutrient desert. There may be a lot of food around that you put in your mouth. Yeah. But it is a nutrient desert. There is literally no use in having it. If you have to eat something, then you haven't got time to go, 2 kilometers or 20, whenever to get to a proper supermarket and to get a good shop. Yeah.
So for people that only want to focus on longevity purposes, they know that they need to exercise, they know that they need to sleep properly.
Sure.
And they also know that they have to get the nutrition dialed in right.
Yeah. Okay, before we come back to that, longevity, because I'll take that separately. I didn't quite answer your fasting question.
Yes,
I didn't answer
that's good.
I'm really sorry, because we got sidetracked about other things.
Yeah.
Although, again, as I said...
So how would someone, a beginner, approach it?
Again, it depends how much weight you have to lose. So the important thing is, don't be scared by it. You know what I mean? It can be very frightening. Right. Particularly when you get to my age, because you think maybe it's just too late. You think you've left it. No one has ever left with 2 days. Nobody, I can guarantee you.
That's
So the usual scenario is that we have 3 meals a day, and people snack in between. Okay, that's the kind of way in which we eat. Sometimes people eat 6, 8 times a day. So before you fast, you have to prepare the body. Okay, for fasting. If you want to do it with the least amount of effort and to get the longest advantage from it, okay, it's a project. All right, it's not a one day. All right, you got to time yourself into it. It's a slow lead in. Okay, and that's really, really important. Okay, absolutely simple. So what I suggest is, and again, I encourage you to read the evidence yourself, get very familiar with it before you start to do anything. Just don't take this podcast as an example.
right.
Put the disclaimer in already.
Yeah.
But I just say to you, please read. And particularly if you are on any underlying medical conditions, you should do it with under the supervision of your doctor, particularly in the first couple of weeks. You should go and get advice. Okay, because you don't want to aggravate any of your underlying conditions. Okay. Sorry to be so docky about it, but
Absolutely, please.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but most important thing is initially is to try to cut out the snacks.
Okay. So no snacks.
Try to cut them out.
Yeah.
Cut them out. Cut them out.
Even nuts.
Even nuts. Cut absolutely. Remember we're talking about calorie surplus.
Right.
That's the end. And that's what gave you the visceral fat in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. And nuts, guys, as big a calorie gainer
I know.
as anyone. Okay. It's gonna put it on. I'm telling you.
I know. I've experienced it. I would sometimes think it's the healthiest snack.
Yeah.
And then I would never be losing weight because obviously it's even more than chocolates. Just
Yeah.
Look at the calories
Yeah.
on the label. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
So
Sorry, keep going.
of course nuts are healthy.
Yeah.
They're full of monosaccharides. And they've got antioxidant qualities. There are so many benefits from nuts. But it has to be in respect to a healthy diet. So there's no point. What we're trying to do is obviously knock down the calories. Have your nuts, and of course you should have it as part of your balanced diet. But it should be done within the 3 main meals a day.
Got it.
Should be okay within that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So first thing is try to cut snacks out, right? Obviously, sugar. You got to declare the war on something in the beginning. It's got to be sugar.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it has to go.
I know it's so addicting. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can have these sweeteners, but I'm not very good fan of those. And that's a little pain than inconvenient. So what I suggest is try to cut down first of all, and then go the next week and half it again. Eventually, you actually don't need it at all because it is addictive. It is a drug.
Yeah.
So you will have some withdrawal symptoms from taking sugar out of your diet.
Crashes, yeah.
So we're into maybe the second or third week now, and you've got your 3 square meals a day sorted.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now you actually are fasting at this stage because you're allowing a space between each of the meals, very good space of 6 hours or whatever, between each of the meals, and therefore you are already.
So fragmented fasting is actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a benefit. Yeah.
Got it.
But it's not necessarily giving you the whole. If you want to get into you want to try and get weight off quicker,
Right.
because it's in your interest.
Yeah.
There's enough. You don't want to get it off too fast, but you want to get half a pound when you're off per week as you move forward. You know what I mean? You really want to do that.
Okay.
Half a pound, then going up to a pound, and then in my case, I went up to a kilo in a week.
Wow. Yeah.
And I didn't have any side effects, luckily, but I was adapting my body slowly towards it.
Right.
Especially when you're burning 3,000 calories going up there.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Like, that's half a kilo.
Yeah.
I'll have a kilo lighter, but I'm gonna get not including water loss and all of that. Okay, so you've got that. So yeah, try to keep your 3 square meals and just embed that.
Okay.
You know what I mean, for a week or 2. See how you're feeling. You know what I mean? It's a lot about your hormones adjust themselves. They're not going to change overnight. Okay, they need slow, encouragement. In the case of insulin, to go back in the box, stay in the pancreas and stop coming out. Stay there, okay? Because you're going to lose no fat if insulin levels are high. Absolutely no chance. No chance. Because not only does the insulin put the sugar, converting into these triglycerides and sticks into your fatty cells, it also, if insulin levels are high, stops the fat coming back out again. Okay? So insulin is not your friend. Okay? It's keeping you alive because otherwise the sugar would have killed you a long time ago. Yeah. But you need to put it back in the box. That's where we talk about the carbs and all that. Okay, so you've got those 3. Right? That's step 1. Well done for getting to that. Okay. Most people don't.
Right.
They don't get to that stage, right? So yeah, there is the intermittent fasting. There is that is intermittent fasting in the middle. You know, would you call it interval fasting?
Interval fasting.
Yeah, interval fasting. So you basically have your breakfast, your lunch, and that's a 12-hour kind of window where you're feeding, and you have a break between, and then you have 12 hours sleep. So 12 hours fully without any food.
Yeah.
That's also fasting. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's working really, really well. Now, I would suggest you now try to cut down the carbs within those, right? Because I think ketosis is key to the strategy of losing weight.
I see.
Okay. So remember, diet is still really, really important in terms of it. It's not just you fast and eat pizza from the times you can, but for your lunch you're gonna have lots of pizza, lots of Coca-Cola, whatever, because you ain't gonna bother. Wasting your food. Absolute waste.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Diet is still.
I thought that was the way before.
Yeah, that is the key. The key is you have to watch your diet. Okay. So what you're trying to do now is square up your breakfast, and you're trying to get rid of your cereals. You're trying to.
I know cereal. I used to think cereals was the healthiest thing because it advertised all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Here's the healthiest breakfast.
And how long does it stay on the shelf? 6 months. It's still good enough.
I know. And it's just straight up milk too.
It's well, there's nothing wrong with milk per se, unless you're lactose intolerance. But having it, you can have it with curd or whatever. At dairy, I love dairy. I think dairy is a very important part of keto diet. You need to have some dairy in that. So yeah, your cereals are gone. So what are you having? Fruit? No.
Oh,
they gotta go too.
That's the killer. Yeah.
That's where all the fructose is. Remember we talked about the liver?
I see.
So fruit, you can have a little bit, but I reduce it a lot. Slowly trying to take it out. You know what I mean? So what do you eat for breakfast?
Yeah, what do you eat for breakfast? I'm like, what is there left?
What is there on the table? What is there in your cupboard?
Parantas?
Okay, guys, don't eat parantas. Okay, that was a joke. Not a very good one. Anyway, so for me, I will be eating eggs.
Okay, eggs.
Okay, so I'll have 2 eggs, and that's going to give me quite a lot of calories, about 150 calories.
Probably, yeah.
That's quite a good.
I think it's 90 calories per egg.
Yeah, it depends on size of it.
You're gonna have oil too, so.
Yeah, it depends whether you boil them or you actually fry them.
Yeah.
So there is going to be some lard effect as well. So for example, whatever you're cooking it in, hopefully it's with a very high smoke point.
Yeah.
So like coconut oil. Okay, I actually cook, because I think I told you, with lard.
Lard, yeah.
I cook with lard, but and it does have a lot of calories, but it's very little you need. Very, very little. You just grease the pan. Usually have drain it, because it looks like there's puddles and we're in the non-stick situation.
Got it.
So yeah, so that's adding probably another 40 to 50 calories onto it. Okay, so now we're up to 200 calories just on 2 fries.
Yeah.
Okay. On top of that, I'll put some cheddar.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'll put some cheddar, and I'll just grill it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll have with that I don't get avocados here, but if I have them, I'll definitely have avocados on the side.
Yeah.
Or I'll have a serving of mushrooms.
Okay.
Which I fried as well. That's very few calories.
Yeah.
They're full
Super
packed with
food.
protein.
Yeah.
Packed with protein. And they're so good. And maybe a few slices of tomato.
Mm.
Okay. Tomatoes are also a fruit, actually. So you can't have like a whole load of them. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're again into the fructose scenario. But you may wish to have some of that with it. So that to me is a healthy, balanced breakfast.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And it's very satiating, and it's going to take you to lunch.
Absolutely.
Okay, without needing any snacks.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
Without absolutely.
But no bread, because people usually think of omelets has to be with bread.
Yeah, that's
To get used to having it without a bread.
This is where you're changing the set point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you may, if you're really into bread, you have half a piece of bread or whatever in the morning first, as you're phasing it out.
Right. Phasing it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're not going to be able to do fasting without the sheer risks of feeling starving, feeling cravings all the time until that's gone. You can't be doing that. You can't have the coffee, because that's spiking your blood sugar again. Which ultimately is what's causing you then, when you go into fasting, to be like just only thinking of food, like doing it's like an obsession.
It is. Yeah.
It's just you can't concentrate, you can't do anything. Yeah, it's dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. So yeah, so carb limitation. Yeah, there's almost very few carbs, and it's probably 5 carbs. 5, sorry. Yeah, about 5 carbs, I should think, in that case, because most of it is in the tomato.
I see.
Yeah, actually always in the tomato.
Yeah.
We get full fat, obviously, and we get protein. A lot of protein in cheese, cheddar cheese especially. very high in protein, and the eggs, of course, about 6 grams. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get a nice start there, okay? And I feel I never need to go very far off that level. I have a black coffee. Yeah, a bit unsweetened black coffee. Not with orange juice. Yeah, not with a carton of orange juice.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean?
A straight up refined sugar inside.
Kind of like, what's the whole point?
Yeah, what's the point of drinking it?
Why are you trying to have your carton of orange juice?
Yeah.
Kind of your cake and eat it at the same time. Okay, this is a scenario just like that. Okay, now we're going. Okay, so what would lunch be?
Yeah, what would lunch be?
What would lunch be? So ordinarily you're probably at the office and you brought a sandwich with you.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to
Or a burrito.
Or a burrito.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, you're gonna have. There's gonna be carbs.
Something convenient, something fast.
Yeah.
Most people, because they're busy in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to, load up with calories here because you do need. I never believe in these calorie deficit situations.
Right.
Very, very careful about that. The reason I'm not in calorie deficit because I want you to have your full nutritional load. Okay, you've got to get all that nutrient. Because remember, we're building the body. We don't want to destroy it. No. And so we're looking at a sustainable, long-term way of living. All right, lunch. What do you think? What's on the table? What's on?
I think on the table for lunch,
yeah.
I mean, it has to be packed with protein, fibers. Obviously, you're probably going to be cutting out carbs, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a healthy meal for me that comes straight in my mind is you do salmon with asparagus or broccoli.
Yeah.
But what most people probably eat is chicken breast and broccoli, which I would also usually eat.
Yeah. So the
is
fat
that
content
healthy?
is low. The
Yeah.
fat content is quite
Fat
low.
content is very low.
Yeah. So you have to put a lot of olive oil on that.
Got it.
Okay, to lift it. You do need to have fat.
Yeah.
But again, remember, you're staying within maybe for a man my age, it would be about 2,000 calories a day. So I would have had 2 teaspoons of olive oil. So literally 10% of my calorific intake would be on those 2 teaspoons going in there. I encourage you, chicken's great, fish is awesome, especially oily fish, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Sardines, salmon,
But you're on the right thing, protein, you need protein.
Yeah.
And, we always get the protein wrong, actually. We need more protein, than what we actually put in what we're doing. So I was putting 2 grams of protein for 1 kilo of weight. Right. So I'm always
2 grams of protein for 1 kilo of weight.
Yeah. So I look at about 140 grams of protein per day. I have spreadsheets.
One
spreadsheet. So it's one that I've made up myself. And I swear by the spreadsheet. It really helps me to get to see it. Also, I would be obviously aiming in that lunch to make sure I get the heaviest meat in the day. The biggest the biggest calorie intake will come from that lunch. Because I want to eat lighter later.
Yeah.
Like a light breakfast, evening meal. And I try to make sure that's got more in it, just as you described it. So remember, full fats need to come back in. Cheese, we need cheese in it.
Okay.
So I have cheese practically every day. I make my own cream cheese. I'm quite lucky. It opens off this mountain here. Thank you, pal.
Yeah.
And I make full cream cheese with that.
Okay.
Then with that, I use salad, obviously. So you need to be eating fresh salads.
Right.
Okay.
Green leafy vegetables.
Anything that grows above the ground. Okay. On the ground too, but if you're wanting to try and get into ketosis, you have to control the actual number of carbs eventually. So you're moving towards more greens, more fish, and beef. What's wrong with beef?
Nothing wrong with beef.
Yeah. And fat. Nothing wrong with the actual saturated fat on. Don't be cutting the fat on or anything like that.
Yeah.
You need it. You absolutely need it. The paradigm shift is now you have to have low fats. It's not anymore about low fat. We're still programmed into this.
We are.
There's no point. You can't have low fat and low carb. You can't have both. Okay?
I see.
Trust me, the only one that works is high fat. Okay? So you need to put more. So your asparagus is really nice, and your salmon. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And good proportions. So you are looking for probably 300 grams.
Probably, yeah.
What? 300 grams of salmon? How am I going to get through that? Yeah, you can. You can.
Probably pretty hungry after these 2 eggs. Yeah.
Well, you will initially, certainly initially, yeah. Especially if you haven't judged it properly.
Yeah.
You know, if you suddenly just stop toast or something,
Okay.
you know what I mean. You're going to be hungry, absolutely. But yeah, put it in size proportion, and try to have 1,000 to maybe 1,200 calories in there. That's what I would suggest.
Okay.
So mine is actually a 3-course meal. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
I do a 3-course lunch, right? Because it's heavy, and because I have time. This is one of the great advantages of being here in India. I've got a lot, so much time.
Yeah.
So I source all my own produce locally. So it's grass-fed mutton is usually what I have. So I'll prepare that, you know. And here it's kind of like super tough because it's running up and down the mountains all the time, just like I am. So the bear's going to have a hard time digesting me, taking a nibble out of me. Isn't going to be as what he thinks it is. Isn't going to be juicy. It's going to be seaweed. Anyway, so yeah, so you have to break it down. And I will eat close on half a kilo of mutton a day. Okay. That includes the bones, obviously. Yeah. So when the bones are out, it's probably about 350 grams with the full fat. I haven't cut a single thing out. I see. Okay. Nothing's been cut out like that. And then I will, you know, have a vegetable assortment with that. Sometimes what I do is the bones of the beef, of the mutton. I will make a broth out of that too. You know, I have that as the base for some veg. You know, the veg I will prepare. And then I'll have a green salad nearby, which is lettuces, and that's covered in my cream fat cheese and things like that. And with raw onion. I love raw onion. And I have a cucumber, and I'll have all the kind of stuff you get here. Look, you're going to have more choices. Yeah. In your overseas. But here, yeah. And all that I get around the temple every morning. They come in at 7 o'clock. The vegetable guy turns up. I can pick up the best. Yeah. And a lot of spinach. Okay. Yeah, magnesium particularly. I need spinach. Yeah. So yeah, so it's about, you know, sometimes it's as high as 1,400 calories. But that's over a full hour. Okay. And the second part of the meal then will be curd, homemade curd. Yeah. And I do believe in flax seeds, and I do believe in hemp seeds, and chia seeds. I do believe in them as a good way of raising fiber, particularly. You know, particularly if you're in a high protein percentage diet, you do need to think carefully about your fiber. Most people only getting half the fiber on a daily basis. Now, fiber is a controversial subject. I'm still very much thinking of fiber is. I see. So I'm trying to get 30 to 35 grams of fiber a day. Yeah. And about 20% of that will come from the seeds.
The fiber from just green leafy vegetables is not enough?
No, usually not enough. Right. Yeah. Not enough. Yeah. That's just interesting.
Yeah. Oh, so it sounds like most people, the diet has been wrong most of their life.
Well, look at the results.
The results, exactly.
Yeah. 80 and 90% of our populations have dysregulated metabolism.
Right. I have another question. What about people that are very fit from the outside,
yes,
but have internal organ problems,
yes,
with the inside? Is that visceral fat just pumping their heart?
Well, like, there are various reasons.
I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, if they're not
also a common problem.
Yeah, if they haven't got a belly,
no, they haven't got
visceral
belly.
fat, then they haven't got visceral fat. That's no visceral fat, isn't it?
I see.
No, definitely. Yeah, because the visceral fat is like, it's visual. You can't find it.
Right.
I mean the large, dangerous quantities.
Yeah.
In your body. Yeah. And then the fasting, just final thing.
Yes.
When you get into you're in ketosis and you feel that you don't need carbs anymore, and that should have happened relatively effortlessly. Okay. Then what happens is you have to then narrow the windows, you know, into a fasting. We talked about fasting is still our goal. So you could be 5 weeks out from the start point. You could be 10 weeks out from the start point, where you now safely can narrow the windows. That is to say, don't have a breakfast maybe. You can skip it. Or if you're going to have it later. Have it at 11. And your evening meal, have it like at 5 o'clock.